Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to CareersTalk. I'm Spencer Sharma, an Agile consultant from Netherlands, and this is part two of our series with Priyanka, today's guest, where we will covering real AI-related Scrum Master interview questions asked at companies like Capgemini, Accenture, Cognizant, ASM, and American Express. So, if you haven't seen part one, I will add the link in the first pin comment and in the description box, so you can watch it later. Friends, if this is your first time visiting our channel, Careers Talk, please subscribe and don't forget to hit that like button. Your one like is a big motivation for us. So let's get started the session with our next question. So welcome, Priyanka, and thank you for giving your time today, Priyanka.
Thank you so much, Sunan. Thank you. Definitely, let's catch up on the rest of the questions. We discussed half of them, so let's cover the next ones for sure.
Okay, great. So here comes the first one. How can AI assist in knowledge sharing within the agile teams, and what are the risks that should be mitigated?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think with so many tools available in AI today in market, definitely AI can help with knowledge sharing in a couple of ways. It can be, to start with, I would say the first one could be it can help us with documenting our notes in an automated way, also summarizing the things for us. For example, as team members or as project managers, we are involved in many meetings, which wherein either we are solving any technical problems or we are planning or we are doing reviews. So all of these meetings can be transcribed. Also, key decisions can be summarized. We can also tag documents to different people with the help of AI, which will make knowledge really accessible to people who are working with us, and it can definitely reduce that manual burden on team members if we are using AI for those purposes. To give you an example, probably Notion AI, which auto summarizes sprint learnings into knowledge pages, could be one of the things that we can do. Similarly, Confluence AI, which can help us convert those retro notes into various action logs. So I think this is one of the way we can utilize AI for knowledge sharing. Other things that we can do is with this automation, information feeds or automated notification, which can keep everybody informed on a timely basis. It can also foster transparency and quick alignment with team members. So this is what we can do. We can also create centralized repositories where information is efficiently available and made searchable to team members easily, which can increase the speed in terms of searching and retrieving the knowledge and also help bridge knowledge gap between people. An example could be that maybe a less experienced team member who is new to the team can leverage AI suggestions to fill some domain gaps or better understand the technical concepts that the team is using, which will support inclusiveness into the team as well as participation and learning of new things. Like GitHub Copilot, for example, this can explain legacy code to new joiners. So I think it's through a number of ways AI can support in terms of knowledge sharing to team members. However, with all this said, there are a couple of risks also involved, like you rightly asked in the question that what are the risks that we need to take care of and how should we really mitigate them? Because overuse of AI can risk critical thinking of team members, like it can weaken the critical thinking of team members, their creativity or investment in building those shared understanding, because though people learn through AI, but that collaboration will miss if we are dependent heavily on AI and not using each other's not using our seniors tactical knowledge to gain that understanding. Other could be that there could definitely be those security or privacy concerns around it, because sensitive information may be exposed if access controls are not rigorously managed. Because AI can definitely fulfill some roles in terms of increasing the efficiency of the work we are doing, but they cannot replace the emotional intelligence, empathy, or interpersonal bonding, which is really vital for team members. Yeah, I think these are some of the risks I can recall. Another thing is that the last one I would say is that AI always sounds very confident. So there could be a risk of hallucinations, as we say in terms of AI, that AI generated documents may be incorrect, but they sound too confident that people can feel that they are, real. So we should be mitigating these risks, which will require deliberate oversight, regular human review of critical communications and knowledge artifacts.
Okay, great. Thank you, Priyanka. I just want to add a small thing that we all remember that Agile manifesto values, right? That individual and
Yeah,
interactions over processes and tool.
true.
So yeah, I mean, of course, over reliance on AI for knowledge sharing can lead to a reduction in a direct human conversation, which is critical for building that kind of trust, the rapport, and that sheer understanding within the team. So I think as a Scrum Master, we must ensure that AI tools are used to augment the collaboration, not to replace it. So I think
Exactly.
that's the important message which we should convey. Great,
Exactly.
wonderful, Priyanka. Thank you for that. Let's move on. So our next question is, what are the different challenges which might arise if AI begin replacing the traditional peer review in the coding?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we are again coming back to the same thing because it's a really important question that AI can add immense value in code quality, but it cannot replace that human peer reviews. What some of the challenges that I can think of is we are again missing the mentoring opportunities if we are relying 100% on AI, because peer reviews are not really about catching the bugs. It's also about learning. We learn from each other. Junior learn design patterns, coding standards, some best practices that the team follows only through seniors during peer reviews. With only AI as a person, AI as a tool giving that feedback, this mentoring loop will really weaken and it will lead to skill stagnation between people. Like I called out earlier also, it can reduce critical thinking. It can really weaken that because peer reviews force developers to read and also question asking reasons of why this kind of code has been written. And if AI is doing all that reviewing, developer will stop that critical engagement with each other's work, that why somebody has written in this way while it was coming to me in a different way.
True.
So over time, this will weaken our team decision discussion. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if I have to just add over here, as you also mentioned, that traditional peer review is not just about finding the bugs. It's
Mm-hmm.
a critical it's a critical mechanism for knowledge transfer. So a
Mm-hmm.
reviewer can explain why a particular approach is better. They can share the lesson learned from the past project, or maybe a deep understanding of the code base history. So AI
Mm-hmm.
can suggest a change, but it cannot explain the underlying architectural or a historical context, which is, I think, very important. And when we
Correct.
talk about code review is
Mm-hmm.
a collaborative activity that build that kind of rapport and that shared responsibility. So
Mm-hmm.
it provides a natural opportunity for a developer to learn from each other. As you also
Yeah,
mentioned,
absolutely.
mentor your junior teammates and build that sense of collective ownership over the code. That's very important.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
without this interaction, the team may become a maybe a group of just isolated individuals,
Mm-hmm.
each working on their own piece of the puzzle, which we should not which is not going to happen, right?
Right,
So
right.
yeah, I think those are the, I probably say, the biggest challenge. Yeah, there are many, as you mentioned. There
Mm-hmm.
may be a context. They are not going to understand the context because again, AI is trained on a large set of data set, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then they sometimes like the local context of a project.
Mm-hmm.
So that might
Correct.
be the thing, and maybe AI is excellent in catching the syntax error and the common vulnerabilities, but as you also mentioned, it can also produce some high number of false positives, which
Exactly.
again going to bombard the developer with the irrelevant or incorrect warnings, and they may start ignoring the AI feedback, and then again that will again going to cause them some critical issues in future. So there are a lot of things which we have to look out for when we talk about AI in that context. Great.
Yeah, I think just one thing, we should rather be using a balanced approach where we can use AI strengths in terms of some pre-checks or some
Correct.
security vulnerabilities, or maybe identifying some duplicates. But then human strengths will come into pictures in terms of contextual designs, like architecture trade-offs, for example, or explaining why something matters versus what really needs to be changed. So yeah, those kind of technical knowledge, when it is needed, human strengths would come into picture. So a balanced approach would help, wherein we can make our things efficient with the help of AI, but still using human strengths to make our sustainable code in a longer run into the project we are working on.
Yes, great. Priyanka, let's move on to our next question. I think it's one of the important question which we all should ask, that how would you coach your leadership to see AI as an enabler and not as a replacement for your agile teams?
Okay, with leaders, yes, I think it's a similar kind of question when we were moving from traditional way of working
Traditional,
to agile. So now it's with AI coming to picture again, similar, that we have to have uh, convincing our leaders in a way that they are not looking it as just a tool, which is a cost-cutting tool, but it is an amplifier to human talent. um, I would say that we should first start with reframing the role of AI, what actually it can do. Instead of, so it can, remove the repetitive work for us, but it's only humans who can really innovate or do problem solving or experimentation, right? So instead of replacing people, AI can take up repetitive tasks like test generation, backlog grooming, that is all AI can do, but real problem solving will be done by a human only. And to I would say persuade our leaders, we should also be showing some evidences in terms of showing some matrices and data that with the help of AI adoption, we are what is it or how we are improving on things. Say example, Jira AI Sprint Insights or Monday.com AI dashboards can show that we have improved 30% of our admin time, or GitHub Copilot can report our coding efficiencies to 40%, and taking the example of a few sprints. So this real data will help them understand that it is not just cost cutting, but it is really giving us real results, which along with reducing our repetitive work, we can add into our organization, while we can give some critical work in terms of innovation or experimentation to our people who are working with us. Yeah, so maybe, yeah, explaining what AI can do and then showing the proofs with the help of certain KPIs can really help leadership convince that it is not uh, just creating some self-managing tools, but it is giving space to people where they are self-managing the work.
absolutely, absolutely. And just to add, like, I would start by speaking their language, which is the business value. So I would not lead with technology, but with what they care most, which is faster time to market, higher quality, and increased team productivity. So
Correct.
I would present AI as a force multiplier. So in place of replacing a person, it's like giving every developer a personal assistant who can handle their repetitive tasks. So this allows the team to focus on a high impact and a creative work that truly moves the needle for the business. That's very important, right? So maybe, as you also mentioned, we'll propose some pilot projects so that we can, think about their outcome. Let's say production bug will be reduced by 15%, this and this by next quarter or something like that. We can show them, and then I
Right.
think that the impact is huge. And as I also mentioned previously, instead of AI replacing a developer, it frees them from their routine task, right? So I think that's very important. AI empower the individuals and the interactions. So
Absolutely,
this give them
absolutely.
more time what they truly passionate for, what they truly important for them. So maybe they are
Mhm.
engaged in peer programming, maybe they are engaged in some deep conversation during the sprint planning, and maybe they are also going to work on some complex problem, right? So
Mhm.
if I have to give some analogy, so a calculator did not replace mathematics,
Mhm.
okay, or a computer cannot replace mathematics. It's feed them to solve more complex problem. So AI is
Absolutely.
our new calculator. AI is our new tool. So use it like that, I think. So that's I just want to add a small on top of the answer which you have given. Great.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think we are halfway through our session. So I'm sure that you have found it valuable so far. Again, it's my request to take a moment to hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And for those who are interested in going extra mile, we offer a premium membership so you can get access to the exclusive content tailored specifically for our silver and gold members. And you can join our WhatsApp community for discussion group and job group. So yeah, enough promotion. Without further delay, let's go to our next question, Priyanka. So next question is that how do you maintain your team autonomy when AI generated recommendation that going to influence your decision making? I think it's
Mhm.
a tough one. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yes, because AI could be incredibly persuasive. It always sounds really confident. Whatever we search for, or the answers we receive, they all always look correct. So, but they cannot be correct because the LLMs, the AI is based on, sometimes there could be some false information available. So we should always double check whatever AI is providing us as an output. So the challenge we are trying to solve here, or yeah, that the challenges that will come is that ensuring teams do not just blindly follow what AI is suggesting, but use it as an input, like one of the voice on the table. Like many are speaking about solving a problem, it could add as one of those suggestions. Uh, Examples could be AI can recommend sprint scope, that these 5 stories are most achievable, or it can assign tasks that somebody worked on a bug, this particular developer worked on a bug, so we should assign this bug to the same developer for efficiency. Or it can also help us with the risk prioritization, that this picking up this particular epic can reduce our delay by 60%. However, whenever these suggestions are suggested by AI, we should ask actively some questions like, does AI suggestion make sense in our context? Or what's missing in this recommendation? Which is something only we know as part of the setup that we are working. So it should only act as a consultant into the room, but not working like somebody who is just dictating us and we are just picking up those suggestions. So it can highlight those trends that I just talked about, but it's the PO and the team who should be finally taking decisions, that what will bring most customer value or business value you just talked about, because that's the ultimate aim that we want to achieve, that our business value is improving. So yeah, acting or taking AI as initial inputs, but then finally deciding within the team what works best for us in our context, and should we be taking this suggestion, can help us overcome these challenges of not removing those autonomy from the team.
Absolutely, absolutely. So of course, as a Scrum Master, we should maintain our team autonomy. That's the core principle of our role as a Scrum Master. So yeah, as you mentioned, there are few important things which we could do. Maybe we should uh, set it very clear foundational rule that AI is an advisor, not a decider. So the
Right.
team retain the final authority and the responsibility of all the decisions which they are going to make. So maybe let's say I would open a conversation in a retrospective or a team working session that okay, AI is here to provide data and recommendation, but the people on this team, make the final decision. The code we write,
Right.
the user story we choose, and the feature
Mm-hmm.
we ship are our responsibility, not the AI responsibility, right? So we should ask and we should give that kind of, that kind of things to them, right? I would, maybe we can also coach them, asking the right set of question, as you also mentioned, like, okay, why is the AI suggesting that this particular thing, right? What is the data behind this recommendation? What are the potential flaws or the bias in this model? Does this recommendation align with our deep understanding of the business domain? So we should encourage the team to think critically rather than blindly accepting a suggestion. So
Absolutely.
we should, yeah, we should do that, and treat AI recommendation as just another input. That's it, not more than that, I think.
Correct.
So yeah, I think all these things will going to help us. Great. We are running out of time, so let's get to our next question.
Sure.
So how do you address a scenario where management enforce AI adoption without team buy-in?
Mhm. Okay. So I would say when AI is pushed top down without team buy-in, adoption gets difficult. It struggles. And my approach in such a scenario would be like doing, again, a pilot, a small experiment with a team which is also co-owned by the team, doing this experiment, which also team gets which give team that voice that they are speaking up based upon what they have experimented over that period, and visible wins that we see during that experiment drives that pull rather than that push from, top down. So I think we can do a couple of things. And lately, I'll also share an example which I have seen in one of the organizations. We'll first start with understanding why is this resistance, like what could be the potential reasons of why people not accepting it easily, by doing a quick learning exercise, like some short surveys or one-to-ones with team members, and trying to uncover what's really behind this hesitation. I think it's often because of job security or data privacy, or team members might feel that they can have some extra workload because of this push. So unless we surface what are the fears, we cannot really try to resolve them. So the rollout will stall in those cases. And then, like I said, once we know the potential reasons and trying to figure them out, trying to resolve them with the team, we can try to mandate these into a pilot experiment. For example, um, a two-sprint pilot with a clear charter, that a small use case, a narrow use case, and the right set of matrices that we will showcase after the pilot is done, and the clear stop or go check, or whether we are pursuing it or not. An example here could be doing a pilot with GitHub Copilot for unit tests, say example, or for backlog summaries using Jira AI. So using smaller use cases and seeing if it's working in our context. And ensuring from day one we are making it safe, because with AI we have to be, making ethical use of it. So I'd make sure that enterprise grade safety is in place before day zero by using ChatGPT Enterprise or Open Azure OpenAI. So once we have this initial prerequisites in place, uh, doing some hands-on with the team members, like some workshops in terms of how to use the prompts, when to trust AI or when to turn it off. So shifting basically this adoption from compliance, which is a top-down mandate from the organization, to gaining the confidence of team member, which will which will enhance the enablement of this decision rather than enforcing it on people. While doing it, we'll also take care of the data that we are, the matrices that we have decided in the beginning, that whether we have been able to improve on something, say maybe faster cycle time or reduce some test efforts, the examples that we have taken. Or is it also improving developer satisfaction, for example? So picking up a certain matrices and seeing if we are improving on it after implementing AI into our scenario. And if the team sees the benefits themselves, if we are really showing that improvement through matrices, that buy-in from people will automatically follow. And I think last but not the least is, if we see in the pilot that it is not showing any value, our matrices are not improving, then I would recommend adjusting our use case, maybe picking up something different and then experiment with something different rather than blaming the team members that you have not worked in a certain manner, which is why we have not seen this value. So yeah, I think doing it in a simple experiment manner, approach by approach, and I have heard it actually in one of my friends' organization that the leadership mandated that GitHub Copilot across entire organization that the team has to do it, start using it. And the team raised concern about privacy and code quality from the beginning. Uh, when they piloted it with small teams, with a few volunteers only, and they gated everything with security like OpenAI. Azure OpenAI is something they used, and within 2 sprints they saw improvements in their cycle time and their developer satisfaction from a certain percentage to an improved percentage. So when other teams saw those results, and they were asked to opt in, it was not like a push to them, it was not a forced decision for them anymore because they already saw the results and they took it in a pull way and easily accepted it. So I think, yeah, that's one of
Great.
the way that we can enable this transformation.
Great, Priyanka. So I think as a Scrum Master, this is a classic impediment scenario for us. Uh, so as a Scrum Master, I think our very first priority is to create that safe space for the team to voice their frustration. If they
Mhm.
feel heard, they are less likely to outright that resist the change, right? So maybe we can I'm just proposing a small things like, okay, what we could have done. So maybe
Mhm.
we'll call let's say a special sprint retrospective or a working session to discuss this management mandate. And the agenda would be simple. What are our concern about this new AI tool, or what
Correct.
are our fears, and what do we need to know? So
Mhm.
the idea is listen with empathy. So active listening is very important to capture their concerns without judgment, again, as we all do in a retrospective, right? So what are their fears? Maybe this is an productivity tracker, not a tool to help
Mhm.
us as a team, as a developer, right? Or maybe the AI don't understand our code. It will make some
Mhm.
bad suggestions. Valid reason,
Mhm.
right? We
Mhm.
don't have time to learn a new tool right now. We are so bogged by our own
Right.
deliveries and things again. Or the most and the last fear is, are our jobs at risk, right?
Risk.
So I would say, I would maybe we can, we can summarize all these points. We'll like take some whiteboard, or we'll club all these points. Maybe it's under trust, adding technical debt, or security, or it's time, right? So let's summarize all these points and then show them that their feelings are valid and their
Mhm.
inputs is being taken very seriously.
Mhm.
So once you have all this data, then maybe, when we have all these teams concern in hand, then I would go and schedule a meeting with our relevant managers or our leaders. And my goal is not to fight with them, but to coach them towards our more effective agile approach, right? So I will start by reframing the issues that our team is resisting. No, right? What we can do is like we can present the team has some valid concerns and we need to address to make them a success, this tool, whatever you want to implement, right? So
Mhm.
try to use a language of risk management which these people understand. So let's
Mhm.
say we have an opportunity to make this AI adoption a massive success, but there are some risks which we need to mitigate. So then, oh,
Mhm.
you are talking in their own lingo, so they understand what you're talking about, right?
Right. Right.
And then you can present the summarized concern which we have gathered from our previous step. So in place
Mhm.
of saying that, okay, team is angry, I would say the team is concerned about the data privacy and the potential increased in the technical debt. So this is a
Mhm.
risk to our product quality.
Mhm.
And I would back this by some data. So if possible, for example, rather than having this top-down mandate for a tool adoption, maybe the team will not going to use it, right? And then it's like a poor return on investment if the
Mhm.
actual team members are not using it, right? So
Correct.
as you also suggestion, maybe we can come up with some pilot program or something. So rather than, yeah, as we also do, right, in the beginning when we are shifting from traditional to agile way of working, right? So start with a small team or some volunteer group, as you also mentioned, right? So instead of having a blanket rollout, let's try this with our team for a single sprint or a one PI or something like that, right? And then we can measure the all these results and use their feedback to create a successful rollout plan for everyone else, right?
Correct.
And then what will be our success matters, as you mentioned, right? What does success look like for this AI adoption? It has to be very clear. Is it a reduction in the bugs or is it faster code reviews? So let's agree on some measurable goals that team feels are realistic, right?
Correct.
And then
Correct.
the last, we should focus on specific solvable problem. So in place of adopt I would propose, let's use this AI to solve our problem with manual test case generation. Example, right? So this makes the goal smaller, more manageable, and more likely to succeed. And of course, we have to facilitate all these collaborative session in future as well. If the management agree on this pilot project, yes, maybe we can bring two group together, the team and the management, to co-create this implementation plan. Both should has to be there in that plan, right? So of course, we could pose the team to present their findings and propose their own plans. So this shift the dynamics from us versus them to be all in this together, right? So if the team feels ownership over the process, that's important for us. And then, of course, we can define the role and responsibilities. The management role is to provide the tool and the time to learn it. And the team's role is to experiment with it, provide feedback, and make some recommendation based on all these things, right? So this clear division of responsibility prevent confusion and, of course, maintain the team's autonomy. And the last feedback, so we should establish a clear, regular cadence for updates. So maybe a demo of your AI tool impact during the sprint review or some dedicated session in the retrospective, right? So let's say in our next retrospective, we'll discuss what working with the AI tool and what's not working with the AI tool, right? So this has to be like this, right? And the coaching should be continuous, right? The process does not end after the first meeting. As a Scrum Master, we should continuously monitor the situation, right?
Correct.
We should protect the team's time. So we should shield the team from pressure to over deliver while learning a new tool. So we have to adjust our sprint goals and all. We should also push our POs so to adjust the sprint goals. And again, we should focus on small wins. So even yeah, I mean, let's say AI caught some syntax error in 5 seconds. Great work, right? So I will share these small success with the management. So they will also feel that, oh yeah, we as a team should working, right? And you should continue ask your team, does this feel like it's helping us or getting in our way, right? So I would continue to coach leadership on the value of a bottom-up empowering approach, right? So our role as a Scrum Master is to bridge the gap between the management strategic visions and the team's operational reality. That's very important. So yes, by using all the principles of transparency, inspection, adaptation, we can turn a top-down mandate into a collaborative, agile implementation that benefits everyone. So I think that will be the comprehensive approach with this problem statement. Wonderful. I have taken some time, Priyanka. So let's move on to our next, the last question, and I'm not going to add anything over there. This is like a kind of follow-up question on this one only. So what leadership stance should a Scrum Master take if the AI adoption slow team learning?
Yes, so AI can sometimes make our life too easy, and it is doing for us day in, day out. However, it is a risk also. What the questions already said, that AI adoption would slow down STEAM learning, and how should we handling it? Um, in one of the COPs, I heard that one team started using AI to autofix merge conflicts. This is something right now many of the organization teams do by themselves. when there is a conflict, they solve it. Now one of the organizations started to use an AI tool to solve these merge conflicts. It worked for them. However, what problem they saw is that over a period of time, people stopped learning it very deeply because they are not involving them too much into solving the conflicts. It's AI that is doing it for them. And to fix that, one of the project managers, what he started using some learning sessions. He called them AI explain sessions, where they talked about how AI made a certain change. So AI solved something, and in that session, they talked about why is that happened? What was the reason behind AI doing it? And this restored both their confidence and those learnings between the team members. So similar to this, I think there are a couple of stances a Scrum Master or a project manager take to ensure that with use of AI, we are not giving up on our learning. The first one, I would say, we have talked about one already, like AI explained sessions. Other could be work pattern, like first something is done when we are trying to solve something, let a human do it and then use AI to further refine it. So this way we'll practice the core skill by ourselves first before AI steps in and provides us suggestions. And then how we can really support this is maybe using some templates. For example, pull request template with a question like, what was your approach before using AI? This will bring that question in a developer's mind and he'll put in his answer and then compare it with AI. So then learning will still continue. Second thing, what we can do is explain before accept. So if a developer is using AI to use some code from AI, then he must briefly explain why um, he is writing this code. Maybe writing it out somewhere in a small paragraph or using a quick clean video or loom video, 1 minute video. He can record what's his reason of writing this particular code. So this will turn that copy paste into actual learning, because while a developer is copying, he's also understanding the reasoning behind this kind of code. Other thing that we can do is sometimes disabling AI, uh, apply, for example, where AI suggestions are shown, but we are not simply using it directly. Human must actively review it, accept it, and if he or she agrees, then only apply that suggestion that AI has shown. So doing these couple of things, I think we can still restore our learning. And of course, in our retrospectives, talking about why AI does this, like AI explains sessions, or sometimes simply putting it off for a sprint. We are turning off the AI and refactoring code ourselves, or running like doing some spikes without taking help from AI. So if we are doing such things on a periodic basis, it will ensure that we are using or taking help from AI, but we are still not weakening our thinking in the teams, like critical thinking, or team members do not stop learning. They are rather leveraging what AI has suggested them by learning more and more from it. So yeah, these are some of the stances that as a project manager or Scrum Master we can use to implement or continue our learning.
Okay, wonderful, Priyanka. So yeah, with this, let's close this session. It's almost 30 minutes, and of course, let's have the third session very soon. We have a lot of other questions for you. So thank you, friends, for joining us for today's session, and we hope you found it helpful and informative. And if you enjoy the session, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in our next session. Till then, take care. This is Sunil Sharma signing off along with Priyanka. Bye bye. Thank you, Priyanka.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Mm.